Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast is...
Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall.
Breaking Kayfabe.
Internet's corona-infested peoples.
The Webernets.
The Webernets. This technically...
Quarantinites.
Quarantinis. Hey, you know what? Serve yourself up some quarantinis. Yeah, quarantini on ice, isn't that nice? This is technically not the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast, but it's still the idiots from the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast. This is like a bonus show. This is a bonus quarantine episode of the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast. We might talk wrestling, but we're probably going to talk a whole bunch of other stuff.
Super quarantine bros.
Yeah. Oh! So if you're looking for wrestling, this may or may not be the show where you get wrestling talk, because hell, it might pop in. I don't know. I think Beef's watching now.
Oh, he joined the Matrix.
He did. He went full on Matrix.
Oh, there he is.
Who did what?
You joined the Matrix for like a second. You took the blue
am I still
red
there?
pill.
Okay. Oh my, set me free.
But
no. Yeah, so we're probably not going to talk a whole lot of wrestling. We were just talking about PA and the possibility of either a lockdown in Pennsylvania or a lockdown nationwide. Beef was giving us some info or some talkies.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with any of this that's going on, and sorry to steal your thunder on the here's the thing, Beef.
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing now.
Here's the thing.
Yeah. So you just got to go down to the corner store. Everyone needs to just get some pastrami on rye. That's the thing. Okay. Everyone just needs to do that. They need to stop being such a gabagool over here. No,
stop being such a mook, you muckety muck.
Yeah, but like, no, anything that happens. The reason why I haven't panicked or yelled and screamed or claimed conspiracy or police state or anything like that is because, honestly, anything that happens is gonna happen. You can't, the thing that you can do to mitigate all of this is wash your hands, don't touch your face, stay isolated as much as you can. If you absolutely have to leave the house, go do it, but get out, come back, and just keep yourself healthy. Get sleep, drink water, do what you're doing. Like,
stay the fuck home. Stay the fuck home. And for God's sakes, don't treat this as a fucking 2-week paid vacation, because that is not what this is. Don't take your buddies and go to Rehoboth Beach with a fucking cooler of beer.
Oh.
You know what? If you want to fucking watch Netflix, if you want to watch fucking WWE Network, if you want to play video games, whatever, do that. But don't fucking, like, leave the house with a bunch of your friends and go party somewhere, because that is not the fucking answer.
I'm going to Ross Perot you for a second, Beef. Can I finish?
Oh, my gosh.
Now, my point...
Wow, deep cut.
Right? My point with this was... as far as government lockdowns, being told you cannot leave your house unless it's for the essentials, like and like absolute bare bones essentials. Like, I have to go to the hospital now. I am out of food and my family needs food. And with the way people are buying food, I don't believe anyone's going to go hungry for fucking 9,000 years. There is not an egg in fucking Clearfield County.
There's no fucking flour.
Dude,
we stocked up on what we could, thinking, we're going to make our own pizza. We cannot find flour in use to save our lives.
Dude, but this is my point. People panic buy, and they go nuts, and everyone's worried about this stuff. Like, I know someone, and I'm not going to say how I know them, because reasons, but they made a post on Facebook about how this is what we get for living in a police state. Aren't you glad your freedoms are taken from you? You're being told where to go and what to do. And I'm like, listen, you fucking dumb. Okay, until you get a job and start paying taxes, I don't care what your opinion is. Number two, And no, it's not someone who's younger and doesn't have a job. This is someone who's older than me. Number two,
that's still pretty young.
Well, oh, thanks, buddy. And number two, it's not a police state. Part of the government's job is to make sure that we are okay. Now, that's not me being blind here and saying, oh, your government loves you, whatever they say you do, and everything like that. There's a time and a place for rebellion. There's a time and a place for that stuff. Right now is not that fucking time.
And
are you trying to mobilize an army?
What?
I said, are you trying to mobilize an army?
I'm not trying. Is it true what they say is Poot the Bard building an army?
Here's the answer. Here's the answer. Here's the thing. Here's how we fix it, okay?
Here's the thing.
If you're going to be an idiot and you're going to go out and party like a moron, we need to fucking bring Walter over and have him just start fucking chopping people, knocking them the fuck out and sending them back home. That's how you fix this problem.
Okay. Well, we've segued back into wrestling.
I was just watching Walter kill a fucking... Listen, I was just watching Walter kill Pete Dunne last year, so, it's a...
I love Beef's lecture about stay home as we're recording this, I'm pacing around the day room of the fire hall.
Driving around, fucking walking around, greeting people. What are you yelling at me for?
I'm just...
Look, it's not a... You'll know... And this is for all the conspiracy. Look, I spent my fair time, and I want to shut up, woman. I want to blanket this before I say it. I didn't buy into it. I listened strictly for entertainment purposes. I listened to my fair share of the Alex Jones podcast. I'm telling you, if you listen to it because you believe in it, vomit. If you listen to it for entertainment, it's hours of entertainment.
Oh my God, absolutely. I will agree with you on that. I will absolutely agree with you.
If someone's talking to you about the Alex Jones show and they're trying to convince you that something is happening, by all means, vomit on their shoes. But
isn't that kind of a slippery slope, though? Because eventually you're going to come across a topic where you're like, all right, that makes a little bit of sense.
No. You've never listened to Alex.
Of who's saying it.
You've never listened to Alex Jones, have you, Beef?
I have not. I have not, no.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a treat. It's a fucking treat.
It's entertaining. Strictly on an entertainment basis, it's fucking hilarious. But you'll know that and for everybody that's a conspiracy theorist, you'll know it's a police state because you'll be stopped by police or more likely by military asking you where you're going, where you're coming from, who's in the car, what are you doing, where do you live? There'll be people knocking on your door. Is everybody in your household here? How many people live here? Is everybody here? Do you have any guns? That's not a conspiracy theory thing. That's a police state thing. Do you have guns? Because they confiscate them. We're far from a police state, even if they implement a lockdown. I struggle, not with the belief that they would implement a lockdown. I struggle with them having enough National Guard, because they're not going to bring in like the Texas, Guard into Pennsylvania. Like I struggle with the government having enough National Guard personnel to police the entire country. Like I just can't see it happening. In Gilpin Township in Leechburg, Pennsylvania, are there going to be National Guard people out there seeing if somebody from Gilpin Township is driving into Leechburg to go to the IGA? I can't imagine it happening. I don't think it's logistically possible.
I feel like I want to know more about how California is being handled. How, in specific, like San Francisco, like we know that they're in a shelter-in-place mode right now.
Well,
I would like to see. I would like to know how things are turning out there specifically before we start thinking like larger scale with it.
Well, what do you need to be asking yourself is what are they doing in West Virginia? Because it seems like they're doing it pretty damn well.
Not getting tested. That's what they're doing because.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, well, I mean, because no one's getting because again, and forgive us, podcast listeners from West Virginia. I'm sure that we have, well, maybe one, probably not, but
we have people have people in Iowa, by the way, who listen to us.
Nice.
I know that. I know that for a fact.
It's fucking Seth Rollins, isn't it?
It's Seth Rollins and his whole crew. No, a friend of mine from college, Emily, lives out there, and she says on slow nights at the bar she works at, there's a whole bunch of her friends who are and regulars who are wrestling fans, and they pulled up the podcast and they'll listen to us.
Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah, at the bar they'll pull us up and put us on. Absolutely.
What a terrible bar that must be.
Sorry for all of your listening experience, Iowans.
Yeah, right.
But
sorry these dum-dums won't invest in better mics and stuff. Sorry about that.
But the bottom line is, West Virginia is a bunch of hill folk that aren't going to come off of the hill, and it's hill folk and WVU. That aren't going to come out unless there's seriously something. So, like, a cough, a little bit of pneumonia is not going to drive them to a hospital because. So I think it's more about people per capita being tested than it is about them not doing something right.
The other thing that you mentioned, Ransom,
that was
about
very poor grammar. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's all right. The other thing you mentioned, Ransom, about the logistics of a police state and stuff. True, they'll probably focus on more urban areas. Obviously, I mean that seems like the logical thing. However,
that's where you would think you would have your higher risk.
And that's absolutely true because there's just more people like per quote unquote square foot. You know what I mean? There's just
we have
more,
over 100 new cases in Allegheny County alone in the last day.
Well, and there was I think a couple confirmed cases in Center County as well. So like it's up our way. It's coming through. But the thing is, people, I truly believe this. Like people are handling it well because we live in an age. Yeah, we were blindsided by this. We were caught with our dick out here. But like,
oh boy,
it was. The thing is, we live in a society now, not only do we have the entertainment at home to make sure that we're occupied. A lot of people I talk to who are handling this like a self-imposed quarantine or social distancing, whatever you want to call it. Like, there are people that are handling it by cleaning their house, spending more time with their families, working on those projects that they've been meaning to do. Of course, people are going to sit down and watch Netflix and play video games. I mean, hell, Doom Eternal just came out. And, like, there's tons of things to do that way. But people are kind of being a little more proactive with their lives. You know what I mean? And out in California, my buddy Steve lives out there. He lives out in California, and he said, dude, it's kind of business as usual. Like, he's like, no one's being forced into their homes. No one's this. Yeah, they're on lockdown, but it's people go, oh, okay, this is serious, and they only go out for the essentials. You are.
San Francisco is like 100% like they are a shelter in place. I don't know that that's the case in like Los Angeles or like San Diego. I know for a fact San Francisco, the city of San Francisco, is a shelter in place situation. So it depends on how that situation is.
And it's feasible to do. You know, it's feasible to police yourself and say, okay, I'm not going anywhere for 2 weeks. Like I'm good. But I don't think there's any way that state, local, federal, whatever governments can say to you, you cannot leave your house. You're done. If you run out of food, what do they expect you to do? Oh, sorry, can't leave my house, so let's draw straws. Oh, sorry, my youngest drew the shortest straw, so your dinner tonight. We're gonna fire the grill up.
That's a fair point. No, you're 100% right about that.
People have to be able to go out for food.
Agreed. Let's. You know what? People are so inundated with this. Let's not, belabor the point with this. And let's talk about something positive, something exciting. Yeah. So, the one thing I will note is that I actually just saw that the European Union is acting is I think requesting or asking, I'm not sure, but asking Netflix to no longer do HD streaming. By the way, interestingly enough.
But God,
for fears of actually
God
breaking
damn
the
it, Europe!
internet.
Don't ruin everything with us. Don't ruin everything. Like,
yeah, Europeans are.
Like
I mean,
Hey,
it's
no, go ahead.
go ahead, Beef.
I was just gonna. It's a fair
Stop muting
consideration.
and unmuting your mic. I thought we were past this.
Sorry, listen. I got someone else waving their hand at me.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Especially with kids being home from school and everything, they honestly do need the infrastructure for that. So everybody well, not everybody obviously, because I'm still doing my job. I know that Ransom is still doing his job, or last I knew.
Yep.
So a lot of people are just relocated to their home, and I actually work from home, and I've been working from home for 3 years. So
Lucky bastard.
I know, right?
This has been the best virus ever for work. I've been so happy working from home. Oh my gosh.
But the bottom line is, yes, there's a segment of the population that's still working, but there are some people who are off for 2 weeks or more with nothing to do but stream, video game, hike, whatever. And but kids, pretty much as far as I know, nationwide, schools are closed, and different districts are doing different things. I just saw that Du Bois is actually looking into getting necessary pieces for kids at home so they can do an online curriculum. So getting them like Chromebooks, tablets, things like that, and then if they need internet access, to give them a router, like a hotspot for that, which I think is an awesome idea. But I'm clearing my own point. The idea here is that obviously those people need it, and the people that are actually trying to work from home need the bandwidth more so than I think the streamers and the gamers and things of that nature.
Look, speaking of gamers, I want to talk to you guys about one thing. Well, first off, I just got back into Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
on the old Switch Reno. Just got back into it. There are a lot of great things to love about that game, but I think Beef, you and I had talked about this at one point, or maybe it was me and Poot. I can't remember. It doesn't feel like a Legend of Zelda game to me. It feels like it's something all its own, and I don't know if that's what they were going for, but I'm disappointed in that game for a few reasons. And this is my own pickiness, I don't like the breakable weapons. That bugs the shit out of me.
Okay.
I hate it. There's no mention in that game in any dialogue about the Triforce. You see it on Zelda's hand, but they reference it as the sealing power. They don't talk about the Triforce. They talk about the springs of wisdom, power, and courage, but never a Triforce. You don't have, you have like the shrines and shit, but those aren't dungeons. Because in dungeons you fought multiple different enemies. You fought moblins, stalfos, mummies, those stupid bats, whatever the hell they're called, keys. The shrines are more just like puzzles. And so are the divine beasts. Those are just like puzzles as well. It just doesn't feel like a Zelda game to me.
All right.
What do you guys think?
I think why don't we? Before you run off to the races, Beef. That's why I was jumping in here. I said, why don't we do this? Ransom voiced his opinion. Beef, voice yours. I'll voice mine, and then we'll have an overall discussion. How's that sound?
Yes.
Okay, Beef, go.
So, I have not finished the game. I beat 3 of the divine beasts. I'm in the 4th currently. And it's been a while since I picked it up. I echo the same feeling about the dungeons. I feel like they need more fleshed out dungeons. Like an honest to God, like you enter this place, you fight some enemies, you have some different crazy puzzles you have to solve, you fight a big bad, you get a piece of whatever, and then that gets you to the next spot. You know, the age-old Zelda formula.
Mm-hmm.
I think, though, what we saw with Breath of the Wild, and you know, it's, you know, whether you like it or not, Ransom, to be quite honest with you, it's wildly successful. It's very difficult to find anybody with a bad word to say about that game. They brought in a lot of RPG elements, and keep very RPG-like. I don't mind the weapons breaking because it feels like in 2018, 2019, 2020, every game is a grind now. Like, nothing can be easy anymore. Everything's kind of a grind because that's how that's how video games are now. So I have no problem with that. But I mean, the fleshing out of actual dungeons, I agree. If they had like 5 to 6 solid core dungeons, I think that it would make the game a lot better, and have the bosses of those dungeons not just be variations on Ganondorf.
Mm-hmm.
But that's literally, you know, splitting hairs, because the idea is that, like, the big like guardians that just kind of like come out of nowhere, you know, that's supposed to be like a boss fight in the wild. You know, you fight the enemies in the wild. You get the puzzles from the shrines, and you get the really big puzzles in the Divine Beast. So, like, I see what they were going for. It was basically kind of just like unraveling the dungeons and throwing it out in the main map and going, here you go.
What do you say?
I honestly loved it. I loved it. Like, I can't echo your guys' issues with the game. I just can't. I loved it. Now, to be fair, it's
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. You got in on it. The reason I don't have the issues that a lot of people have, and it's never even a complaint. People don't usually aggressively complain. They're like, oh, it's different and it's kind of weird, but, you know, we'll see where the next one takes us. Like, no one's ever negative about it. They're just like, I would have preferred, you know? But yeah, that's neither here nor there. I loved it so much because I didn't really grow up with the Zelda games. The first Zelda game I ever played and really sunk my teeth into was Ocarina of Time. Like, I was
really hoping you weren't going to say Adventure of Link, because then we'd have to be like, disown you.
Listen, you bitch about that game, go back. You want to talk about a game that worked in RPG elements? That game did.
I played it. When the Switch Classic thing came out, the NES Classic thing for the Switch came out, I actually started a playthrough of it, and it's interesting. You're right. That is RPG heavy.
But anyway, so what I was getting at here was, because I had that, and then that was really the only one I played a lot of. I wasn't a fan of Majora's Mask because I'm not good at micromanaging days. Like, at the time, I hated scheduling. So, like, that game was basically a nightmare for me because it was, you had to micromanage and schedule everything in that game to get everything done. And then, I mean, I played Twilight Princess. That was the other one that I beat, like, wholesale, and I loved it.
That was a good one.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Wind Waker was one that I played later. I never beat it myself, but my roommate in college would play it all the time, so I've seen the whole game, and I loved it. It was whimsical. It was fun. It was different. I think it's because I didn't grow up playing every Zelda game, and, like, up until right now, I've never played A Link to the Past, which is heresy among video game fans.
That might be the best one.
Everyone says that, and, like, I'm having a great time, but I still really like the newer ones better. A Link to the Past is a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, and I could change my tune by the end of the game. Anyway, back on track. I think that's the reason I don't have complaints, because I loved it. You wake up, You walk out of the Shrine of Resurrection, and the world's just there. Go. Have fun. It's so awesome. Like, I love that feeling of isolation. Like, you're just... 90% of that game for me was just exploring Hyrule. I was like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be beating Ganon. Like, it was amazing. And I loved that it was... I loved the mini puzzle dungeons. Yeah, some, like, the battle ones were all the same, and there were some puzzles that were bullshitty. But, like, a lot of them were very clever. The Divine Beasts, they weren't that hard. Like, but still, I don't think that was the point. You know, I know there wasn't a traditional dungeon. The only two complaints I have with that game, the only two, the final battle was a letdown for me personally after this whole triumphant explorative game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And fucking rain. Rain is the
rain
worst.
Is the fucking worst.
Because you can't, even if you have your stamina all the way up, if you have the climber's outfit on, no matter what, you can't fucking climb in rain. It is so aggravating. Especially
and
if you...
it always rains in Hyrule. Every fucking, like, third day. Not even that. Probably like every other day. It's fucking raining. Stop it, rain. Stop it.
Somewhere on that map, there's rain. Like, I mean, it's so aggravating. But once I kind of learned to mitigate it and, like, just deal with it, I have no other complaints about that game. I love the weapons breaking because it made me feel like I had to scrounge. It made me really feel like I'm unprepared to deal with this oncoming calamity. Like, I loved accidentally stumbling upon stuff. And I was like, oh, what's that? Woo! And that, because I don't know, Ransom, have you played it before?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, you've beaten it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, and Beef's gotten this far, like stumbling upon the Lost Woods. I didn't know it was in the game. Like, I love that map. I stumbled upon the Horse God.
Mm-hmm.
That fairy fountain. I had no fucking clue. It was so great.
Oh, I don't think I found that. Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff you can...
The Isle of the entire Isle of Darkness, like that really fucking made you think, man.
The Isle of Darkness? Oh, you mean the area of the map where it's just dark?
Yeah, the one that's completely enshrouded in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of really cool shit that I think that they did.
Oh, the island that was a shrine.
Yeah.
Where they took everything away from you.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That and then like the shrines that were like fucking Alcatraz, like miles away from shore, that you basically had like one shot to get to, and if you missed it, you were starting to, you know, there was a lot that game really did well that really make it excusable for missing some elements of previous Zelda games. By the way, fun fact, I did not pick up Ocarina of Time for the first time until I broke my ankle in college.
Wow, really?
Oh my.
Yep. When those 2-3 months I was laid up was the first time I played it. And my favorite Zelda game, I love Link to the Past, but it's probably Twilight Princess, because I feel like the story of Twilight Princess is probably the best story of them all, because it wasn't like Link and Zelda have been done to death. They've tried them being best friends. They've tried them being, you know, romantically entwined. They've tried this, they've tried that, you know, but the whole like it's not Shadow Realm, but the
Twilight Realm.
That's it. The whole other dimension aspect of it, Midna, like that whole thing just was so gripping.
Oh, Midna was so hot.
And the graphics of Twilight Princess, I agree. No, I agree. The graphics of Twilight Princess, I think are probably still better than Breath of the Wild, if we're being honest.
I loved the graphics of Twilight Princess, and since you brought that up, I want to talk about this real quick, because this got me this is what actually got me back into Breath of the Wild. Did you see the previous Breath of the Wild 2?
Yes.
I have not.
Oh, dear Lord.
Dude, it's going to be so good.
Let me set this up for you, Beef. It's real quick. It's not a very long preview. And it doesn't give a whole lot away, but it really makes you think like, oh, dear God, they're going to tie this into a completely... to another Zelda game. Like, it seems like all Zelda games, aside from Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, they were clearly intertwined. But it seems like all the other Zelda games, you know, if you like watch the Zelda timeline or whatever, they, you know, you can tie them together or whatever. But this preview really feels like they're tying together Breath of the Wild 2 with Twilight Princess. And I'll tell you why.
Ooh.
Yeah. So in the preview, Zelda and Link, and Zelda has a awesome new like shoulder length short haircut, looking really good. They're exploring this cave, and in this cave, they come across, you know how like the what are those? What were the people that you found in the shrines? The Shikas.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know how they were kind of like mummified almost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Beef?
Yeah. 100%.
So they come across this body that's kind of like that mummified Sheikah. It's got this glowing hand holding its chest. And it's got long, flowing red hair. And it has a crown on its head that looks damn near identical to the crown that Ganondorf wore in Twilight Princess. And right at the end of that preview, its neck snaps. It's like its neck snapped from being broken back into place, and its eyes light up, and that's the end of the preview.
Ooh.
So let me hit you with why I believe this is going to tie in a little bit with Twilight Princess. I could be dead wrong, but I feel like it might. Because in the end sequence of Twilight Princess, do you remember Zant?
Mm-hmm.
You remember how Zant snapped his neck and Ganondorf's neck broke?
Yep.
Well, this mummified thing has long flowing red hair and this crown that looks an awful lot like Ganondorf.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Beef, I put a link in the Discord. Just watch it.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on, Ransom.
So the mummified creature, whatever it is, that I'm assuming is Ganondorf, its neck cracks like it's snapping back into place, and that's when its eyes light up. Also, if you remember in Twilight Princess, you remember how like in the opening these sages or whatever tried to kill Ganondorf? You remember that?
Uh-huh.
And they stabbed him in the chest with that blade.
Okay.
And throughout the whole game, he had that scar on his chest.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's where that hand is holding. That glowing hand has a grip right on that scar on that mummified creature, right where Ganondorf would have had that wound. And it almost looks like there's malice coming out of that wound. So if they're going to tie this together, it almost feels like the Calamity Ganon creature was the malice that was coming out of this Ganondorf that hand is got a hold of. It was coming out of that wound that Ganondorf got in Twilight Princess. That's where all the malice was coming from that turned into Calamity Ganon.
Okay.
So if that's actually correct, it could tie together Breath of the Wild 1, Breath of the Wild 2, and Twilight Princess all into the same realm.
And in theory, and there are, speaking of conspiracy theories,
oh boy,
there are billions of people that will, like the old Charlie Day graphic with all the string on the wall, him smoking a cigarette, being so fucking sure of himself.
Pepe Sylvia.
Exactly. There are enough people out there that can tie together the existing. Me personally, I believe that every single Zelda game is contained within the same universe, just on a different timeline. I think that there are split timelines, In some places, but yeah, the fact that they are like so like obviously linking that Breath of the Wild and Twilight Princess is exciting to me. Although if I'm being real, I'm not a big fan of like being Wolf Link. That was only okay. But I mean, other than that, like that's literally the only transgression I had with Twilight Princess. Like other than that, everything was fucking perfect.
Ransom and Beef, if you guys ever have the extra little bit of scratch, which I had a copy of this, but I gave it away as a gift. It was the Hyrule Historian.
Oh, I so want to get that.
It is so cool, and it lays out the timeline in a way that makes a shit ton of sense. Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I understand that whenever this started, there was no timeline, and it's all kind of birthed from, like, organically. That's one of the things I really love about the Zelda universe, is that, like, so much of the lore and the timeline and everything has really been born out of fandom and just kind of like gestated naturally. And if you ever want to see like really cool theories on any given game, breakdowns of like what's the most powerful Ganondorf, like theories on old games, timeline explanations and stuff, there's a YouTube channel called Zeltik, Zeltik.
Oh, yeah.
Zeltik is awesome.
They do a really good job.
Zeltik is so good. Also, here's a fun thing we could do if I could ever make it down to Pittsburgh. If old COVID-19 decides to pitter-patter away. I have a Zelda collector's puzzle here. It's 500 pieces, and it is a map of Hyrule.
Oh, that's cool.
I would sit down with you gentlemen and have beers and do a jigsaw puzzle like a group of old men if it was a Zelda one, and be 100% content with that.
What I want to do is I want to put it together, and then I want to applique it so that it can't come apart, and then frame it.
Ooh, yeah,
yeah, man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, like, but no, so okay. How about this? Top 3 games, since we're talking about video games and stuff, top 3 video games for you guys of all time.
Oh, damn.
Top 3. Like ones that you will never, ever get tired of playing or get tired of ever.
I mean, like that's a tough category because you could have...
Can we do top 3 franchises?
Well, so here's what I'm gonna do because I'm gonna job out a little bit here. I'm gonna give you 2 lists. One is story based, one is like replayability based. All right, games that I can't put down, that I'll never put down, that I'll always come back to. So story wise is pretty easy for me. I would say number 1 of all time, Final Fantasy VII. Number 2 is probably Metal Gear Solid 4. Even though I didn't really play that myself, I basically I got to experience the movie, and then number 3 would probably be either Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess. They're very similar games. I would probably go Ocarina of Time. And then as far as replayability goes, like I think my top would probably be Super Mario World. I feel like I could always pick up Super Mario World and just have a blast with it. And honestly, I'm probably a reach here, but Fallout 76. I've tried to play other games, but I just always keep coming back to 76, man. I don't know what it is about that game, but I can pick it up and just play it. And like the story's shit, but I just like going and doing things. I know it's not, I know I didn't give you a top 3 for that one, but I feel like those 2 are honorable mentions.
All right. Well, how about you, Ransom?
I can't narrow down games because I'm a dork, and there's so many that I've played that I've absolutely loved. But I can give you like franchises that I think tie in both story and gameplay all into one incredible. Like, I could play any of these games in that franchise and be completely content with it. So the first one would definitely be Halo. I am a super mark for first-person shooters.
Okay.
And as far as gameplay and story go, the story of the Halo series and the gameplay in all those Halo series is just... I'm enamored with both. They tell a wonderful, wonderful, very sad story throughout all of the different, Halo games, and the gameplay is phenomenal, as far as first-person shooters go. So that's definitely one. The Zelda franchise, because, some games were awful. Majora's Mask, I did not like at all. I didn't like Link's, The Adventures of Link. The second one on the NES, I did not like that one. I thought it was hard, and I love a game that's challenging, but a game that takes it beyond that. It goes from challenging just to plain old fat difficult. I don't enjoy that. But as far as the series goes, that's good Lord. What a story, and they have a more good games than they have bad. Oh, then the third, I'd have to say there's a tie for the third one. It would either have to be the Deus Ex franchise or the Metroid franchise. I think Metroid has a number of incredible stories over the different games that they have. It's full of lots of puzzles and mazes, but there's always a story behind it. And I think the story is very well put together. And then the Deus Ex is a first-person shooter franchise, and it's like a dystopian future, and it's like with Halo. It's amazing gameplay, and it's an amazing story. And any one of those franchises, I can pick those games up, having beat them hundreds of times, and still I know every twist and turn. I know where every enemy is going to be, but it's still fun to play.
Right.
What about you, Poop?
For me, dude, honestly, like my top, like if I went with 3 games, and this is games that like I enjoyed, not necessarily that are like something like I could easily say Smash Brothers, because I've had so many good memories with that. But like as far as like me sitting down playing a game and doing it, for me, it would probably be Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. That game.
What was that for? I never played that.
It was for GameCube. Man,
that's right up there. I forgot that in Fallout 3. Those two, Eternal Darkness and Fallout 3, probably round out my top 5, if I'm being honest.
I'm sorry to interrupt you here, Poop, but I want to make sure I'm thinking of the game that you're talking about, and I think I can't remember which one of you two I talked about it with. But is that the game where it would do stuff like it would throw an error message and make you think that you needed to turn off your GameCube?
Yes.
Like you thought the game messed up, but it was actually part of the game?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I know what you're talking about.
It's so good, and playing through it the 3 different times.
I always wish I could have played that one.
It's the same story, but it's so...
Does the story change based upon what you do?
No, the story is the same. Like the characters, like you're playing the exact same story every time, but what you choose at the beginning of the game, whatever rune or you choose or relic you choose at the beginning of the game, it changes how the enemies attack you, how they affect you, and some of the dialogue options.
Oh, okay.
It's awesome. If you can ever play that game, it's so good. And if you haven't, you can always go watch my playthrough on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/PootTheBard.
Oh, I think I'm going to do that.
Dude, I'm really proud of that one because I think I picked the first time I ever played that game. I picked the most difficult route, which was picking the Zelatoth rune, which was the green one. And so when I did it on my YouTube channel, I did that run. And there's a couple factors of why. But anyway, so Eternal Darkness is one of them. The other one has to be The Binding of Isaac. That game is...
I never played that one either.
Oh my God. It is... I am ashamed at how many hours I have in that game.
What was that one for?
That's for damn near every platform.
Oh, really?
It's on Switch. It's... Oh. When you try and explain it to people, it doesn't... you can't. Because they say, well, what is it? And I said, it's like a cross between Zelda and the first Zelda and Smash TV, except you're a baby, and the way you attack enemies is by crying at them.
What?
Yeah, dude, it's you're a small child, a baby named Isaac, and the way that you attack enemies in rooms is by shooting tears at them.
Oh my!
It's just get the game. It's not expensive. And it's addictive because
but it's fun to watch you play it. It's fucked up, but it is literally a joy to sit there and watch you play.
Do you have that on your YouTube channel too, Pooh?
Oh my God, I have dude, I used to they have a daily challenge. I used to do it every day and record it and put it up.
Oh, I gotta look that one up too.
I have tons of Binding of Isaac stuff. Let me look and see how many hours I have on PC. Let me see. The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. I have the newest version. The one on Switch is called Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus.
Oh, okay.
Let me see how many hours I have in this game. Where's my playtime? Wow. Okay. Playtime on this, I have 1,247 hours in this game.
Holy crap.
Fuck.
That's over the course of how many years, though? And I played it every day. Because they have the daily challenge. So at minimum, I was playing it. Well, if I died immediately on the daily challenge, that doesn't count. But minimum, I'm playing it 20 minutes a day.
Nice.
So I mean, but that game is so much fun. And every single run, every time you start a run, it's different.
Does that have a good story to it?
It has an interesting story to it.
Okay.
We'll put it that way. It's not really terribly story-driven. There's a lot of lore behind it, but you have to kind of take it as interpretation.
Okay.
Just I'll make you a deal, Ransom. Buy the game and play it. If you don't like it, I'll give you the money of how much the game cost. That's how much I have faith in this game.
Wow.
Anyway, the third one for me probably would be Super Mario 3.
Yeah, that was another really good one. That's a classic.
Quality. Yeah, I mean, any of the Mario games you really can't go wrong with, except for Odyssey. I'm sorry, not Odyssey.
Oh.
Sunshine. But even that, I understand, has its redeeming qualities.
That's the one where you have the stupid backpack that squirts water?
Yeah. Yep, and you had to go around and remove graffiti. Yeah, it was interesting. I played a little bit of it, but I mean, Luigi's Mansion was far superior to that.
Absolutely.
I feel bad that I haven't played the other two Luigi's Mansion games. But yeah, the first one was really, really good. Yeah, man. Ransom has it kind of on the head. It's really tough to sit here and say the greatest game of all time is X, Y, or Z, other than Final Fantasy VII. Like, to me, and you know what? I will readily and freely admit that Final Fantasy VII may have just been like a time and place thing. It was like a formative year. I think it was like 12 or 13 when it came out. And like that's when, the cutscene graphics were just starting to get really good. So like it's quite possible that one may be entirely nostalgia filled. But I very rarely have I played a video game that has like a story that has like literally brought me to tears. And I remember Final Fantasy VII doing just that. So like that kind of was the measuring stick for me.
But now, like, see, I'm gonna say another heresy thing. You ready?
Uh-oh.
Never played a Final Fantasy game.
That's the only one I've ever played. I tried Final Fantasy VIII after it, and I hated it. I tried the old Final Fantasies, and I wasn't a giant fan. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII, again, just the right place, right time. I think what it was is that they made that game more readily accessible. I don't want to say easier, but more kind of streamlined for like non-weebs, so that it wasn't overly like JRPG-ish. Mm-hmm. So like it lended itself more to like the common man, and I think that's why everybody and I mean, like I said, that was kind of PlayStation 1 was like the advent of really having stories in games. Now, yes, there were stories in games prior to that, Earthbound and some of the Final Fantasy series, etc. But they were all kind of light. But like once the PlayStation 1 got involved, you started seeing kind of deeper, more meaningful like plots. Metal Gear Solid, for example. Resident Evil's another example. Like games that really kind of and I mean, Halo is right there in that first generation. Xbox, obviously not PlayStation, but so like that time was very intricate and integral, I think, to all of our lives. So like being there whenever that was kind of being developed was very important, I think, and that's probably why we have some of these games as high as we may. So
let me ask you this: what is the absolute worst video game you've ever played?
Oh,
if you had to name one where you're like, no, I'll never play that again. It was just awful.
Let's get the easy one out of the way. Superman 64. Just get that out of the way. That no one's allowed to pick that. We all agree on that.
Forgot about that altogether, man.
I've never played that game, but I've heard absolutely terrible things of it.
If you play it after the age of 6, whenever you were naive enough to rent the sumbitch, you're going to get prostate cancer.
Oh my gosh.
It's so bad.
Terrible.
It's so bad. All right, go ahead, Beef.
Fuck.
Yeah, now that I took away that one.
I mean, I can't really think of many, like, truly awful, like, I'm never touching that game again moments I've had, because I'm kind of a niche gamer. I play, like, a lot of sports games, and like, the major titles, so, like, I don't hit a lot of ones where there's an unfavorable response to it. Normally I kind of pick games up after they've been out for a while and after people have already kind of formed opinions of them. There was one game, okay, so Godzilla for the NES was a guilty pleasure of mine. A lot of people hated it because it was very rote, but being a Godzilla fanboy, it was a bad game. But I enjoyed it. But like there was a game growing up. I want to say it was like Monster Hunter or Monster Squad or I don't remember. But basically, you were this kid, and it was on the NES, and you had to like travel between like different levels, and there were just monsters everywhere. You had to collect keys. The levels were fucking impossible. And when you got to the bosses, like, forget about it. I think I made it about halfway through the game before saying, I'm done with this. I'm done with this nonsense. I don't remember the name of it though. Let me see if I can do a quick Google search for it while you guys bluster on.
What about you, Ransom? What's
Superman 64?
No, that's not my answer. I said let's get that out of the way.
All right.
No, you go ahead. What's the worst one you ever played?
The worst one I've ever played by far is Mario is Missing.
Oh,
yeah.
What a bad
That was an abortion of a video game.
No.
And I thought granted, that was a long time ago, but still, when I saw like the premise of it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Mario's lost somewhere. Luigi's got to find all these, different clues. He's got to find Mario. And when I played it, it was so terrible. I think they tried to mix it in, like they're like, all right, let's make a Mario game, but let's make it like an educational Mario game. And since I've had children, there have been some pretty good educational games out there. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, okay, well, if it's educational, it's going to be shit. No, there's been some good ones. But that one was absolutely by far just trash. I think I...
Uh-oh. The Matrix got him again.
I'm confident that this is the worst game ever.
Mario is Missing is pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I've got one that is probably not the worst game I ever played, but it like triggers that in me when I think about it. You ready for it?
Oh, Monster Party.
That's the one, Monster Party, yeah. Go ahead, Poot.
Ghostbusters for the NES.
Oh my god.
It is.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
It is so bad that it's laughable. Like it's abysmally bad. Like fucking you can't. Like you play that game and literally the tagline should have been Ghostbusters ... but how? Like it was like
Ghostbusters, but not really.
No,
yeah.
I do love the fact that when you fire it up, you don't get the music. All you get is Ghostbusters. That's it. That's all you get. Like that makes me chuckle every time I hear it.
Poot, I was just thinking about your like literally just yesterday thinking about you doing the impression of that game, Ghostbusters. Like,
oh really?
It's just, I can't. I don't remember what triggered it, but I was like, it just fucking cracks my shit up.
Dude, it's so laughably terrible, and it's one of those games that you think, okay, maybe that was too complicated for me as a kid. I'll go back and play it as an adult. Nah.
No.
Now, okay, one more good round of this, because I think we're falling into a groove here. I like this. Okay. What is a game that you know is bad, but you absolutely love? Like, what is a bad game that you love?
Yeah, so I will further elaborate. Mine is definitely Godzilla for the NES. Basically, it was almost a D&D game. More, it was two parts. There was an overworld that was basically like a D&D map, where you had you controlled Godzilla and Mothra, and you moved them like on hexagons. Godzilla could move, I think, 6 spaces a turn. Mothra could move 4, but I think Mothra could move diagonally. And so your goal was to get to the end of the map and beat the final quote unquote stage of the. And I think you had to kill the primary monster first. And so they brought out Godzilla's entire rogues gallery for this. And like each level, so the first level, I forget, it was like each level was a planet, and the first level I want to say was like Mars, or it may have been Mercury actually. Yeah, but anyway, you had to fight the squid Gezera, and then so like you would go after you beat that level, you would go to the next map, and then there would be 2 monsters on the map. You'd have to beat Gezera and Baron. And so the problem with the game was not the monster fights, although sometimes they got a little bit tough, because like once you got to the level with Gigan, he was the one that had like the spikes on his chest. He would just walk up against you to the edge of the stage and just use this razor chest on you and kill you.
Oh.
Yeah. The problem was twofold. One was that Mothra sucked. Mothra, you could not use Mothra to kill the monsters. the other problem was the stages were incredibly repetitive. So, like, on any given overworld map, there were probably about 15 to 20, like, stage levels where you had to play whatever monster you were controlling at the time on that stage. And Godzilla could use his atomic fire and kick. Mothra could drop, like, poison and use, like, I-beams. And it was incredibly repetitive.
I-beams, like from a building?
No, like little red dots coming out of their. But you know, you only ever wanted to play Godzilla, and it always felt like you were just kind of towing Mothra along, and then especially as you got through the solar system, it got real fucking tedious. And by the time you get to Planet X and you're fighting King Ghidorah, it was King Ghidorah. It was very, very, very repetitive, and you're like, oh my god, how many more of these do I have to do? But it's a guilty pleasure, man. If you're Godzilla, I loved it.
All right, what about you, Ransom?
Oh boy, this was tough. I never really. I think it was like a bad game. I never really kept playing it, or I never really went back to it. But the one, and I won't say that this is necessarily a bad game in my mind, but I will say that it was definitely heralded as the worst game in the franchise. Was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Have you guys even heard about that one?
Yes,
it rings a bell.
I think you'd have some fights because a lot of people think that Final Fantasy Tactics is pretty fucking terrible too.
I didn't play that one.
Tactics was bad, but yeah, I mean, I have heard about Mystic Quest for sure.
I'll say this. That was the only Final Fantasy game I ever played. But it was just, you know, it gets such terrible reviews, and I think a lot of it is like it's excuse me, it's like the most dumbed down Final Fantasy. I don't know, it just got such bad reviews, but I always thought that it was a lot of fun. It didn't have a really great story to it, but it was enough to keep my attention, and I could go back and play through it any time and be happy about it. But it was just, I don't know why, but people just shat on that game like there was no tomorrow. It seemed like a typical Final Fantasy game. Like, you start out as your character, you picked up different people as you went. You could only ever have a 2-person crew, though. Like, you could never have more than 2 people in your party. I don't know if that was an aspect of it. I don't know how many, you know, people that you normally get in a Final Fantasy game, but that was a little bit of like a guilty pleasure of mine on the Super Nintendo.
All right, mine is a game for the NES that I don't know how many people played it, but I loved it, and it's a little game called Yo Noid.
Oh yeah,
Yo Noid is a trash fire of a game, but I fucking adore it every time, dude. I found a ROM of it and I played it, and it just took me back. And that game both made me so happy but so frustrated at the exact same time. I never beat it. I never got past, I think, stage 5.
From what I can remember, it was a pretty hard game, wasn't it?
It was really hard. And that's what made it bad, was that it was unfair hard. Like, nothing was explained, like how you use the powers. Like, did you know you could shoot the larger scrolls and open them up and use the spells inside of them?
I don't remember too much about that game.
Exactly. That's the thing. People have played it and they remember it, and they remember it fondly because they only played it once. And
all right.
You know, I played the shit out of that game. I loved it, but it was a garbage game. And I
mean,
still
you are
to this
kind of
day
a glutton
love
for
it.
punishment, to be fair. So
You're not wrong. Like
that's kind of where I am with the Mega Man series. Like, the Mega Man games frustrate me to no fucking end, but there's just something so fun about the platformer aspect of it. You know, it was doing things that games that it was inspiring games for fucking years and futures to come. But man, like, that was probably Mega Man 4 and 2 were probably sources of more broken controllers in my house than anything else.
Oh, there's
remind me, because I'm pretty familiar with the Mega Man franchise, but I can't go by numbers. So, which ones were those ones? Like, because there was one where you fought Doctor somebody that wasn't Dr. Wily, and then you fought
that was
Mr.
Mega
X.
Man 4. Yep, Mega Man 4. That was Dr. Cossack.
That's it. Okay.
And then at the end, you find out after playing through like 4 levels of Cossack's Tower, you find out that he's just a puppet for Dr. Wily, and then you have to play through fucking Skull Tower again.
Yep.
And it's you sons of bitches.
And so that was what, 4?
That was 4. Okay. 2 was there wasn't anything necessarily like stand out against it. It's just it was a tough game with tough robot masters, and like I think 2 was the advent. 2 was the advent of like the mid-level boss. So like you had to get past the mid-level boss, like in Bubble Man's level, you had to face the big stupid fucking purple whale that shot homing missiles at you.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and if you got borked there, then guess what? You're borked. It's just amazing what we did with like no save states, and like Mega Man was unique because you could like write down the little bubble codes. But like it's just amazing how we got through these. Just the hardest games in the world were on NES without any fucking solid save state. It's nuts.
And not a whole lot of explanation either. Like some of those games didn't.
Yep.
You needed an explanation, or you need like there was something that you needed. Metroid was one. The first Metroid game. You know, good Lord, what an amazing game! But you had no map. It was so freaking easy to get lost in that game until you played it so much where you had to memorize it yourself.
I mean, that was the thing about older games, man. And it's something that I kind of noticed with newer games. And I mean, it's very obvious, and this isn't a brand new, like, epiphany of a topic, but it just kind of, like, dawns on me every once in a while. Back in the day, man, if you, like, every game was a try and die. Like, every single game was a try and die. Because you had the manual, but the manual didn't really explain a lot. And if it did, then it was just basically about the enemies. Like, hey, you can jump with the A button. Hey, use your gun with the B button. Move with the directional pad. Start and select. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? It was very simple. You had to just play the sumbitch. And if you lost all 3 or 4 lives, you started at the beginning. Very rarely were there
back to square one.
Yeah, very rarely were there save states. Like, I mean, like with Zelda. Zelda was one of the few games that didn't facilitate that whole thing. No, seriously.
And you had to like you had to like cross your fingers too. I don't know if it was real or not, but you know, they always said that you had to like press the reset and the power button at the same time, or you could potentially lose your progress. Like, it's just amazing,
there's
man.
A battery inside of any old game, any old cartridge, there's a battery inside of it that held your save state. If that battery died, then you couldn't save.
Yep.
And that's the thing, is now really any game, there are some penalties. Like the prime example I can think of is Dark Souls. So like in Dark Souls, if you have 20,000 souls and you don't upgrade and you die, you drop all your souls. You have the chance to get from the last bonfire you rested at and get back to where you were without dying. Then you can pick your souls up and you won't lose them. But let's say you die, lose all the souls you had, and then you die on your way to picking them up, they're gone. And that can be cataclysmic for a run. That's the only thing that I can really think of off the top of my head. But nowadays, dude, there's so many games that, like, there is no penalty for dying. None. You just die. And, like, when you realize that, it kind of takes away the panic factor of playing a game and wanting to win. You know what I mean?
No, man. Like, so I will use Fallout as an example because I've poured probably over 1,000 hours into 3, 4 New Vegas and 76, probably double that if I'm being honest. So, like, yes, you're 100% right, but just because we can save doesn't mean that we do save. And if, you know, a lot of games now are getting better with auto saves, but, you know, when Fallout 7 or when Fallout 3 first came out, it wasn't an automatic. You had to literally turn on or turn it off. So if you wanted like a harder difficulty, you know, or you know, something like a Dark Souls factor, you could turn it off and be like, all right, you know, if he dies, he dies. Like, just because you can do it doesn't mean that we remember. So there were times in Fallout, especially Fallout 3, where or New Vegas, oh man, where I would be running and work 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and, you know, haven't hit a bed to sleep, haven't changed the map to like go into an interior to do an auto load, and just, you know, forgot to save. All of a sudden, boom, Cazador Nest, I'm dead. And I'm like, fuck, that's 3 hours. What the fuck did I just pick up in those 3 hours? You know?
Oh, yeah.
And then
did you get anything unique? Did you get some armor?
Yep.
Like, where do you go back and do it all again?
Yep.
Yeah, but I just feel like maybe it's because in those kind of games I program myself to save like neurotically all the time.
Oh, you're an oversaver.
Yep.
Oh, I walked 2 feet and I picked up a knife. I better save. No, I oversave. But I only keep 3 save files going, and I rotate them. That's a dangerous game too, man. Because then at some point you're gonna save in the same area, and if you're not watching your hour count when you're saving, like you could say, because you fucking know that there are times when you save a game and you're like, all right, this place looks like it's really bad news. I'm going to save now before I walk into this shithole. Mm-hmm. But at some point, or you know, hey, I'm about to make something that's going to be a big choice, like blowing up Megaton in Fallout 3, for example.
Spoilers.
That's not a hard choice for Beef. He kills everybody.
Every single time. Give me them caps. That's the wasteland. Welcome. Well, X-Men, welcome to death.
Welcome to die.
Welcome to die. But, you know, my point is with the...
X-Men.
with the
when to go.
3, I knew it was coming. With the 3 save state model, like if you're kind of tossing around like a juggler, man, you're gonna take it up the ass one of these times.
Yeah, but see, that's the difference between how you and I each play games, Beef. Because like I play those kind of games methodically and meticulously and think about my decisions. You put a rocket launcher on each one of your nuts, and then you go into a situation and blow everything up.
You know, that's exactly
true.
the way
that storms in and murders everybody.
That's 100% true. That's exactly the way that Brittany plays. She plays Fallout because she was playing here the other day. She plays it so slow. She will go and she will pick up every item.
Yep.
And loot every corpse, read every note. Nope, fuck that. You know, hey, here's some cool shit. Oh, I'm gonna get beat on. I love you, dear.
And you know what? I enjoy the hell out of myself immensely and have
done
so many.
Bertner. Hey, Bertner. Give Brittany a fist bump from me.
Chuck wants a fist bump, but she won't do it with me because, you know.
Yeah, but it's from me.
Virtual
fist bump.
A fist bump is face.
Don't fist bump my face.
Fist bump my face. But yeah, I mean, you're 100% correct. That's exactly the way that I handle it. I jump feet first in. Give me the action.
All right. So I want to play a little game with you guys.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So these are off of a YouTube show that I used to watch that was part of the Rooster Teeth brand. And I just think you guys, I would love to hear your reasons why. It's called $1 Million Butt.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, you get $1 million, but, and then there's something that happens. Would you take the $1 million? That's basically it. Okay, are you ready?
Okay.
Are you ready? Ransom, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, no.
Are you ready?
Okay.
I'm ready.
You get $1 million, but once a month you will be attacked by an animal.
Oh, good Lord.
Now, are we talking like RNG? Like,
who
one
knows?
month it could be a squirrel. The 1 month it could be a falcon. The next month it could be a fucking Bengal tiger.
Who knows?
No.
No, you wouldn't take the $1 million?
No, I would not.
Of any one of us, you have the most firepower sitting around. You'd be fine.
Look, I've got a lot of guns, but the most of the guns that I have are invested in pistols, and most of those pistols are 9mm. And for anybody that knows guns, 9mm is good if, like, okay, somebody's broken into my house, I'm going to fire off 15 rounds of 9mm. That's either going to kill a guy or it's going to scare him away. Yes, that works. But if I take $1 million and I'm walking down the street and, I've got my concealed carry piece on me, which carries 10 rounds of 9mm, and a Bengal tiger shows up and goes, "Oh, hey, buddy, this month is me. Here I come." I'm not going to take down a Bengal tiger with 9mm. And I'm not going to spend the rest of my life strapped with an AK-47 in my back going, well, this month it could be a squirrel. Next month it could be a grizzly bear. I don't fucking know. Like, I'm not rolling the dice. Hell no. Nope. Not rolling the dice on that.
All right, what about you, Beef?
And plus, there's so many animals out in the world. It could be like, oh, this guy's walking a dog down the street. Nah, he's good. It's just he's walking his dog. This month is me, and this guy's dog. Leash snap. Oh, there goes my testes. Ain't gonna happen.
Okay, so Ransom would not take the $1 million. What about you, Beef?
Nope.
I mean,
it doesn't say, to be fair, it doesn't say killed by an animal. It says attacked by an animal.
Well, still though, I don't want to pay him. I don't want to get $1 million and then roll the dice, and 2 months later after the $1 million, there goes your junk. That's not worth $1 million.
That's fair.
I mean,
I like how Ransom immediately knew his answer. Beef's like,
I gotta think about this. Like, well, I could roll the dice. It might be squirrel, chipmunk, maybe, a trout.
With $1 million, like with $1 million, I could walk around with a fucking, like, bastard sword on my back and be pretty well equipped for, a fucking shotgun. Something for all occasions at that point. If I knew
it's a lot of stress to live your life under, though.
It is. But if, I mean, what? Fucking, like, living paycheck to paycheck and paying bills is not? I mean, come on.
You don't have to worry about a Bengal tiger showing up on your doorstep going, today's your day.
No. I mean,
it just it knocks on your door and it has a cup of coffee. It's like, hey man, it's time to do this.
Look, I'm here for this month's beating. No.
Tell them I'm not here. What?
What?
I would be tempted because
good Lord.
The chances of it being like a grizzly or a Bengal tiger or a fucking pterodactyl are slim. More often than not, it's gonna be a stupid fucking bird flying at you. Dude, all right,
it could be hell. It could be an ant.
With $1 million, I have enough faith to at least protect myself. And if you know it's coming, then there's no excuse not to be protected. You walk around at all time knowing that a Bengal tiger could jump out of that bush at you, so you better be walking like you are planning to kill something. So, I mean, the other part of it is, I mean, like I said, man, like, Bengal tiger, paycheck to paycheck. What does that say about the fucking socioeconomic state of this country? But
I'm sorry.
You know,
I'm chuckling because I have so many awesome questions here that I can't wait to ask you guys. They're hilarious.
All right, Beef, answer quick. I want to get to some more of these.
Yes, I would take the $1 million.
Okay, so right now,
Jeez.
Ransom has $0. Beef has $1 million. Okay, ready? Are you guys ready for this?
Yep.
I like this one.
Here we go.
Okay. All right. We'll start with Beef on this one. Beef, $1 million. You get $1 million, but your arms are replaced by Muppet arms.
Shit.
It's now this is $1 million flat. You just get it non-taxed, no strings attached, but your arms are now replaced with like Kermit the Frog. Yay!
Yeah.
Arms.
The only strings attached are to your arms.
Yes.
So I would probably not, and here's why. So let's say that I burned through the $1 million, which is, in this day and age, is possible. What the hell am I going to do with Muppet arms to work? You know, I can't type on a keyboard.
You could hilariously type on a keyboard.
No, I could like feign typing like they did in the 80s with their big fucking arms going everywhere. No, you can't. I'm not going to strong arm anybody. I'm not going to be a bouncer at a club. I'm not going to do MMA. You know, plus, even with, you know, let's say the $1 million lasts my whole life.
God, so much already.
Right? Well, you never know. I might. It could be a thing I do.
No.
Beef underground bare knuckle boxes, and he goes in there with Muppet arms 1 week.
As they start the match. Oh, no.
The other side of it is that, like, even if I say, you know, even if the $1 million lasts my whole life, I can't do what I want to do. I can't drive. I can't have a nice car because I won't be able to drive it. I can't play video games because my fucking arm doesn't work. Like, literally, the only thing you can't even jerk off at that point. So, like, okay, well, all right.
Try jerking off with a Muppet arm, it ain't easy.
I was gonna say a man with experience with jerking off with Muppet arms, apparently.
Listen, you don't know my life.
I know more of your life than I should.
Well.
So anyway, I would say no to this one.
Okay, Ransom. What about you?
These Muppet arms, do they have like? Can you feel stuff with these Muppet arms? Or it's like you've got no feeling. It's straight up. No. Someone's puppeteering your arm.
No. I mean, yeah. Like it's as a Muppet would be. And you've seen Muppets. They hold things. They eat food. They drive cars.
Not well.
Right. So what I'm saying is like, if I crack open the fridge and I reach for that beer, can I feel the coldness on that beer? Through these Muppet arms, or it's just look, you can grab it. But you don't know what you're grabbing.
See, I was under the understanding you probably couldn't even grab it. Like having like prehensile fingers on a Muppet arm is a no-go. Like you have,
like Pooh said, you've seen him eat, you've seen him hold stuff. So, or yeah, I mean, some of the smaller motions, like you might not be able to type on a keyboard, but can you feel things like we feel with our normal hands right now with Muppet hands? Yes or no?
Yes, because Muppets can feel pain. They react to pain.
Fair point.
All right, now that makes things different. Because some of the hilarious hijinks that I'd be able to get myself into with Muppet arms would be amazing.
See, my problem was I immediately went to Kermit the Frog arms. I should have went to like Bert and Ernie arms because they do have fingers. Shit.
Do I have complete control over these arms, or is it like Muppet arms where someone else is like pulling the strings on them?
It is a Muppet arm, and we'll say that they operate the way they do in our world, but you don't have a human puppeteering your arms. No, you know what? We'll say you have to have a puppeteer.
I'm gonna go no.
Okay,
nope, I can't.
Two no's. All right. You guys, are you guys having fun? You want another one?
That's
yes,
great.
I love
yeah,
these.
keep coming.
Okay. Okay, you get $1 million, and we'll say annually.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
well,
Annually. $1 million annually.
So you know this is a big one.
January 1st.
Right.
But from now on, every 30 seconds, every day, and you don't know which 30 seconds, your dick goes, it makes a weird noise and moves around wildly.
So it's every 30 seconds or
No.
once a day?
For 30
seconds
seconds every day, and you don't know which 30 seconds. But annually, you get $1 million.
I'd go yes.
Okay. Can you explain why?
Well, because aside from the noise, most people are going to know my dick's moving around anyway. So, like, if it's just in my pants freaking out going, you know, at one point in time for 30 seconds during the day, someone's going to look at me and go, what the hell's going on with you? What's that noise? I'll be like, nah, it's my cell phone ringing.
Okay.
Like, ain't nobody going to see that flapping and flailing around in my trousers. So, yeah, I can go with that. I'm good with that.
All right. Beef?
While it could be a terrible inconvenience at sometimes, you know, if I'm getting $1 million a year, hell yeah, I'm smashing that like button every, you know, yes,
all right,
100% yes.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I put the link to all these questions, this spreadsheet of questions, in the Discord. I'm gonna do one more round of it, but then I want someone else to take over. Okay.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
all
let
right.
Beef take over.
Okay. So, all right, you guys ready? Let me look.
Yes.
I don't know. That one's really good. I'm sorry. I found a couple. Give me a second. All right. Okay, we'll start with Ransom on this one. Ransom, you get $1 million, but you have a knife, we'll say a machete, attached to your hand at all times.
No. Because I don't think I'd be able to sleep at night without cutting myself up.
Good point. I didn't think about the sleeping factor.
With as much as I flail and flop around in my sleep like fucking Ric Flair, there's no way I wouldn't slice my own face off in a matter of 2 days. So I'm going to go with no and woo.
All right. Beef?
Dominant hand or a non-dominant hand?
It's just attached to your hand at all. We'll say dominant.
Okay.
Well, that's a super no for me. Try beating off with a machete hand. That ain't going to happen.
Yeah. There's just, I can't, like, there's, at some point you're going to have too many beers, and then having to piss is going to be an issue. Having to wipe is going to be an issue. You know, you're going to be super angry at somebody. You're going to be super angry at somebody sometime, and then you're going to jail for murder. So that's a hard no from Beaster.
Okay, I want to ask this one more, and then I'm going to let someone else take over. You ready?
Ready.
All right, Beef. Every time you fart, $1 million, you get $1 million. But every time you fart, spontaneously, an entire parade shows up celebrating said fart.
My God, well, I fart a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're a pretty farty guy.
I am, and like I fart a lot when I'm at work too, so that would be very. But again, if I'm If I'm a millionaire, I ain't working. So
yeah, but it's only $1 million once. So every single time you're on the phone, you hear, "All right, thank you very much for calling our company that you work for. This is Jeffrey. How?"
Oh no!
Every time. That's
every single time you fart.
I mean, no, because I plan on living a while, and I plan on farting a lot, and I'm $1 million. I mean, just what? So like what? What if you're in like a nervous farting mood, or you've had some like beans and franks, like you let one rip, and then you get a fucking nervous fart again, then it's another it just breeds with one another. So I'm gonna go no on that one.
All right, Ransom.
How long do these parades last? Like, how long does this band show up and play for?
It's a parade.
Are they giving you a 10-second, da 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 da, and they're out?
It's just there's one sad guy who walks up with a popper and goes, "Poof."
Yeah, like so. I'm gonna still say no.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say no. Look, I've got a homegrown one here, and while Beef's getting his list up and looking through some of these questions, I want to pose this to you. I only got one. And this goes along with the video game aspect of things. Would you take $1 million, but if you do, you now live in a world where death claws exist and only you can see them, and the only person in the world they can see is you. So they're not jumping out and randomly attacking random see them. Only you can see them, and they can only see you.
But everything remains normal.
Yeah, everything in the world remains normal, except, there are random death claws that can pop up just as much as they're in Fallout 3.
And they're not imaginary. They will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, hell no!
Real,
hell no! Oh no! That's a hard pass.
No, you said no. You said there are as many in Fallout 3, right?
Well, just like using it as an example.
Because I want to determine like the population. Like, am I going? Do I, Beef Martin, have the same chances of running into a Kodiak bear as I would a Deathclaw?
I don't know. I don't know how many to say that there are in the world.
So if it even so is it more in? Well, you're the maker of the question.
Let me say that.
Is it more? Yeah.
I'm just going to use the United States as an example.
Okay.
There is one Deathclaw randomly roaming every county in the United States. So for Butler County, there's one Deathclaw for Butler County. There's one for Armstrong, one for Beaver.
Gotcha.
They don't stay in the same place. They're randomly roaming.
Okay.
You're randomly running.
Yes, I am.
So.
Welcome, Tom.
Oh,
welcome.
Oh, now I want to take back over. Fuck.
Okay.
All right.
I believe that I would probably take the money, and here's why.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna give it the same explanation I gave it with the random animal, except for I know that there's a active Deathclaw somewhere out there at any given time. And I'm going to be prepared for said active Deathclaw.
I'm just going to say this, too, but this isn't like Fallout where it's like, oh, I'm going to go behind this door. Up, safe. Deathclaws would be like an actual living thing. So, like, if it sees you through the window of your house, it could probably break that window and get you.
Right, yeah. With that knowledge, I am still fine with it because, like I said, I would make sure that part of that $1 million is the beef safety fund.
This
No,
is
let me pose this question to you, though.
Dude, we're playing $1 million butt.
Yeah, Poot will explain. So let me tell you this, though, Beef. You get $1 million. How much of that $1 million are you thinking to a fortified home? Not to mention maybe a fortified vehicle. What is there going to be a lot of that $1 million left for you to actually enjoy yourself? Are you gonna roll the dice on going, well, hell, I have $1 million. I can go to Cancun whenever I want and lay on this beach and go to this restaurant. Well, if you're outside, you never know when that death cloud might be traipsing on through. And not to mention the fact that, you might be like, hey, I could buy a rocket launcher and take care of that death cloud. Well, there's still laws in the world. And at least in the United States, you can't walk around with a rocket launcher strapped back.
Yeah, okay.
The police are going to come up to you and be like, hey, dude, you got a rocket launcher. We got a problem. And then you're going to have to try to explain to them, well, there's death clause around. And they're going to go, there's what?
I recant. Only on that impetus, because if I cannot properly defend myself, then yes, then I would not take the money.
All right.
But if it was like a finite thing where people would be like, oh, he's clearly just defending himself against that death claw, then
because nobody else knows they exist except for you.
Nope. Then that would be a hard no for me. Then.
No.
All right.
No. That's a hard no. That's a hard pass. I don't want to live in a world. I don't want to live in a world where that shit exists. So, Tom.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry for the shitty mic. I have my earbuds in.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. So what we're doing is we're playing $1 million, but the premise is you get $1 million, but, and then we pose something that happens if you take said $1 million. Like one of the ones we asked earlier was, you get $1 million, but your arms are replaced by Muppet arms.
I think I would do that because I would use the $1 million. Sorry, I have food in my mouth. There we go. I would use the $1 million to buy myself pretty damn good prosthetic arms. Just cut off my Muppet arms. So why not? And then and I'm sure.
Loophole.
See, you got to think about these things. And then obviously, the awesome prosthetic arms aren't going to cost me a large chunk of my $1 million. So I'd still have plenty enough money to go back around for whatever.
But let me say this here to you though. That's all well and good. I mean, you could probably get a good pair of prosthetic arms, but it's only $1 million. In this economy, that really doesn't do a whole lot for you. And think of the fact that if you cut those Muppet arms off and you put even the best prosthetic arms that money could possibly buy you, you're never going to feel a boob again with your hand.
Nope.
That's okay. I have my mouth.
Fair enough.
Wow. Tom solving the world's problems. All right. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
You guys ready? All right. So, let's see. Okay. You get $1 million, but you're a Jason Bourne type sleeper agent whose skills are only activated around the elderly.
Okay, hold on. I gotta ask a clarifying question.
Okay.
So if your skills are activated around the elderly, does that just mean that you have a heightened sense of awareness and physical capabilities, or does that mean, no, there's an old person, ching, I gotta kill him?
It's like you're a sleeper agent. Like you're not in control of what you do. You have all the heightened senses, the superior battle skills, all the combat training in the universe. But when you see an old person, it's like whenever Bucky Barnes has all the words said to him. So you go into a fugue state.
Who controls me at that point? Do we know?
It's your intuition. It's your intuition.
The government.
It's your intuition. You're like, okay. You just go and you're like, this is what I must do.
So,
but what do you have to do though? Like what?
You don't know.
I don't think
so. You're not going to know what your mission is at that point.
Right. That's the point of a sleeper agent is that you don't know. You like it's kind of like
I think the implication of this question is that when you're around the elderly, you Jason Bourne the fuck out of them.
Could potentially ruin them. Yes.
So you're going to attack any random elderly person you see.
Potentially.
Okay.
Yes.
I also have another clarifying question. Being that I would be a Jason Bourne type sleeper agent, does that mean that that I'm constantly being hunted down by some other said entities or anything? Because this sounds like a pretty much like a win-win situation for me. Like, I'm getting money, and then like I don't know, fucking who cares? Like, if I'm not in control of myself around the elderly or whatever, I don't know. Like, that doesn't bother me. I just keep my distance from them. Like, I don't see a downside to this. I'll take the money and run.
Real dark on that.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
Yeah, Tom's going nihilistic on this. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so Tom, you'd take the $1 million.
You know,
listen, I'd take the $1 million.
It's every time, and you could potentially be a murderer of elderly, and you would have the cops coming after you all the time.
Well, I mean, if I have those Jason Bourne type, I don't know.
Yeah, but you don't have those
right.
Jason Bourne type abilities unless you're around the elderly and they're activated, right? So if you're not around, if you go Jason Bourne and you kill this old dude, and then the old dude's gone, and you snap back to, oh, I'm regular old me, and the cops come after you, you're not going to have those skills.
Well,
because they're not active at that point. Is that right?
I would think by a certain point I wouldn't just start randomly killing them. I would also instinct would take in, and I would or like whatever survival mechanism as far as the sleeper agent stuff is concerned. I would probably like keep an old person as around me as kind of like, you know, like a battery pack of sorts. Like, I don't know.
Wow. Battery pack old folk.
All right, so Tom, you're saying yes, is that right?
Fuck yeah, take the money.
All right, I'm going to say no.
And also, what age are we considering
Tom,
the
do you
elderly?
have the same thing the government does, 59 and a half?
Okay.
Nope.
So that's the other thing. Tom, do you have any grandparents left, buddy?
I do not.
Okay. I don't either, but
Yeah.
my parents are 70. I'd have to say no.
I would probably not take the money only because I do see a decent amount of old people and I don't want to get into that situation. So, yes, I'm going to also pass on said cash.
Wow, I feel like a real asshole, but
Well,
whatever.
Well, you know.
Welcome to your role on the podcast, buddy.
All right.
Fuck it.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna throw another one at you guys. All right, ready? You get $1 million, but once a week you wake up and your penis is off. It's gone.
Nope.
No, hold on. We're not done. You have to find it in a pitch black room, and you have to find it in a pile of sausages.
No.
Okay, no, wait. It will end.
This is not getting any better.
No. Hold on. It will end when you think you have your penis in your hand, but if it's not, you have a sausage for your dick the entire day.
No. There is a no-win situation in this.
It's only
absolutely not.
It's only once a week and for the whole day. So really, it's only potentially one day out of the whole week where you will have a sausage for a dick.
Yeah, but depending on the day, if the day is, it doesn't matter. This is not a good scenario at all. And what if you don't get, like, what if it's not a set schedule of days? What if you have, like, say,
it's not. It's randomly once a week.
Yeah, so it could be, you could get it like Saturday, Sunday, because it could be the end of one week and beginning of the next, and you get 2 days of no penis. Fuck that.
Well, yeah.
So hold on, let me ask you this. Wait. So Tom, you're a hard no, right?
Hard no.
So there we go.
Intended. Well, you know what? All puns intended. Hard no.
We have figured out Tom's dynamic. He doesn't give a fuck about the elderly, but stay away from his cock.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey,
I mean,
I take pride.
Let me ask you this, Beef or Poot. I got a clarifying question on this one.
All right.
What kind of sausage is it? Is it a Vienna sausage or is it like a Hillshire Farm hot sausage?
Hillshire Farm. It's like a big sausage. No, it's related to the actual. It's related to the actual size of your dick.
This could benefit me.
It's related to the actual size of your dick.
Let's see. This is definitely a hard no because, well, yeah, tripod Tom. So.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe like for once a week, I could give Tara the hot sausage, maybe. Some peppers and onions because I got a hot.
I was gonna say be careful because she's a paisano, so know.
And also,
exactly.
And also, here's the other
Christ.
benefit of it too. They only have to deal with this potentially 1 day a week, and you're a millionaire.
So I'd say
but hold on, but you're not getting like $1 million every week or anything.
No, you're
It's
getting
just
$1 million flat.
Exactly. So now
I would do it because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my dick is not shaped like a sausage. Like I'm not going to mistake my penis with a bratwurst. So like, like, oh man, this is clearly a sausage. This is clear. Oh, there's my penis. Like, I'm good. Thanks. Like, it might take me 30 minutes. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Yeah, I'm taking the fucking money.
Okay.
How big is the room?
It doesn't fucking matter. Like, whatever. What?
You know what?
Okay.
I'm gonna say, all right.
There are so many questions I have about you people, and like either A, the sausages that you're eating, or
the penises you're eating.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Okay.
Oh man.
So beef
I'm gonna say. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Beef's a yes. Tom's a no.
Hard no.
Ransom.
I'm gonna say yes. Just for the fact that I can say to Tara once a week if I get it wrong. Hey, I got the hot sausage here today. You want to take advantage of this? You got some spicy mustard? What do you got?
Okay.
Yeah, but hold on. You're not thinking.
Comic factor, I'm going with it.
You're not thinking of one other really bad scenario though.
What's that?
What if Tara decides to just take a bite out of it? Then you're back to
Well, that's 1 day.
Yeah, it's 1 day.
She can gobble that sausage up, and I'm back to
Every
I don't
other
know about all that,
Tom,
man. I mean, that'd be pretty fucking excruciating.
every other day out of the week, you have a normal dick.
Yeah, but no, you're also not saying like if you like, do the nerve endings and everything still work the same? Like, are you going to get the same? You're not going to get the. See, now I'm still saying no. I don't want.
I'm just
would not want to
saying,
lose my penis, and honestly, I'm not trying to be braggadocious by any means or anything like that.
Yeah,
but
you are.
I'm happy. No, but I've been blessed to have a very a good size. So doesn't matter.
Well, there we go. Podcast over.
All right.
Yep.
No. So
let's move on.
You guys ready for a couple? You got a couple more in you?
Wait,
Yeah,
Dude,
man.
are you taking the sausage money or no?
Oh my god, absolutely.
Sausage money.
Oh my god, absolutely. I'd do it. It's once a
Sausage
week.
money.
Fuck it. I barely use the thing anyway. Let's see.
Well, see, maybe that's the case. Maybe I just use it often enough that I value it.
Yeah,
so,
I don't. So it's all good. All right, you guys ready for this one?
Yeah, let's have
All
it.
right. You get
Jesus.
$1 million, but the moment you get handed the briefcase of money, someone takes out a gun, puts it over your shoulder, and fires it. The bullet is now traveling around the earth, so every 31 hours you have to duck it. It never deviates from its path. You can't just step sideways. It's always like in line with you.
So you have to time it out. You have to time it out and duck
Yes.
every 31 hours.
Yep.
Oh man.
I can't coordinate my sleep schedule that well. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say
you're gonna,
no.
and plus you're gonna forget about it at least one time, and like probably more than that. But if nothing changes, if the trajectory does not change, theoretically, once
You
it
don't have
bores
to do
a hole,
shit.
well, once it bores a hole through your shoulder, you could then just cauterize that wound inside and out, and have a big gaping hole in the middle of your shoulder to let the bullet travel through as it wishes.
Wait, so you're saying that you should just let a fistula grow in your shoulder?
Well, I mean...
For $1 million.
What if during that time, though, Beef? What if during that time you end up forgetting about it and you're standing face to face with Brittany?
You guys
and
keep
you lose track of time. You get a hole in your shoulders.
You keep discussing. I gotta piss.
That's a fair point, Ransom. That's because then you start thinking about
everybody else is around you. What if you're at Thanksgiving with your parents?
Yep.
And that someone's walking around. Yeah.
Or even oops, there goes my TV. Oops, there goes my car's radiator.
Yeah, it seemed like way too much of an inconvenience, and I definitely would not be able to plan my life out or anything like that. And I wouldn't want somebody that I care about getting hurt. I mean, fuck the random old people, I'll take the Jason Bourne money,
but here's the thing though, like if it is 31 hours to the T, you could set your watch by that. And like if you know that exactly 31 hours it's gonna come back around, in theory, you can prepare.
Yeah, but every clock is imperfect. Watches and clocks lose time or gain, whatever. So like eventually your calculations are going to be off. So
daylight savings would be a bitch.
Daylight savings.
Daylight savings. The one time a year you get the one time a year you get nicked. You just move to Arizona.
I'm saying no.
Yeah, I'm definitely no on that one too.
Okay.
Boy, you know what?
Beef would say yes until the first time that thing wings Brittany, and then that $1 million is gone because she takes Beef's head off.
I think I would do it only because I would, have the wherewithal to like plan for it. Like, okay, bullet time's coming up in 5 minutes. All right, bullet time is now. Here we go. Like, so I mean, it's not gonna be a surprise if it was like, 31 hours and 3 seconds, then that'd be an issue because then it wouldn't be like even. But I mean, 31 hours exactly. You can set your watch by it. I would do it.
All right, so we have a no, and a yes. I'm gonna go with yes. Put me out of my misery. All right, next. Next question. You guys ready for this one?
I thought I went dark with like fuck the old people. Pooch's just like, I don't care if I live.
Pooch's just like fuck myself. Yeah, good lord.
I say that every morning when I wake up.
Hey, all right, you know what? If we live to be both 59 and a half, Poot, I'll put you out of your misery for you. How's that?
Sounds good, buddy. All right, there you go. $1 million. But
Tom's got you.
$1 million, but at 59 and a half, Tom comes and finds you and hits him with his apparently well endowed dick.
Hey, what a way to go, right?
It's like in an old gangster movie. It's like a club. Man, see? All right. How about this one? $1 million, but every piece of furniture that you interact with is breakaway type furniture you see in the movies.
What?
Okay. $1 million. You get $1 million, but every piece of furniture you interact with is breakaway type furniture like you see in the movies.
Define breakaway. Like is it functional?
Furniture that's made out of hopes and dreams. It's not actually structurally sound.
Well, Beef sits way too much to take this one.
No.
Here's the thing, though.
It's every piece of furniture. Everything. Desks, lamps, everything.
Well, see, then you get into tricky territory. Like, what defines furniture? Like, is a beanbag considered furniture?
Yes.
Like, it's not that much different than my real life, then. I just have to be a little bit more careful. Like, yeah.
Oh, my.
Basically,
mean, that's...
so basically...
That's a pretty... Yeah,
because Beef and I understand this concept of what it would be like. Ransom, Tom, I want you to basically imagine Pretend every piece of furniture is like what happens when Beef and I sit on wicker.
Oh man. Even my bed, trying to sleep in something like that.
Yep.
A hammock. There's no way of getting around this.
Nope.
Unless I just sleep on the floor in a sleeping bag, which I could do. Pillows aren't furniture. You know what? I can make it happen. I could make it work. I would find a way.
Is a mattress considered furniture?
Yes.
I
Okay.
don't consider.
Is what?
I don't. Mattress?
Is what considered furniture?
Mattress.
Like a
I
bed
would say
mattress.
so.
I
I
don't
would
think
say
it's
yes.
technically I don't think it's considered the furniture. I think the furniture is the
bed frame?
Yeah, I would say it's more so the bed frame.
I would say that a mattress is furniture. I would think that a mattress would be breakaway mattress.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But that doesn't make. But would you consider pillows to be furniture? I don't.
If you're,
I would just sleep on a shit ton of pillows.
Hmm.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
my.
I'm looking at next
I
ones. I'm looking at next ones. They're really funny.
I don't know.
I'd say no.
I would say no, because I have broken a dear friend of mine's, a dear best friend of mine's brand new couch like 2 weeks after they got it. So I know that pain. So I'm gonna say no.
Do you owe ransom a couch? Is that what you're saying?
a little
Dude,
bit.
A little bit.
I literally got home. I literally got home that weekend, and he's like, "You broke my fucking couch," and I'm like, "Oh my god, it's a brand new couch! Oh god, oh god, oh god!" And he's like, "Nah, man, don't worry about it. It's a piece of shit anyway." I'm like, "Oh, thank
He's
god,"
like-
because oh my god.
I can see people like, no.
Yeah, I was sweating real hard. Like
What the hell?
it was bad news bears. What the hell?
All right,
Yeah,
so
I would definitely. So beef and ransom are no.
I'm no. I'm absolutely no.
Tom can apparently live his life on pillows.
Yeah.
so-
Apparently so.
Killing old
I'll
people.
Yep. That's how I lay my head down at night, on the hopes and dreams and tears of old people.
so
Okay.
Tom, you'd be a yes.
You know what? Fuck it. Just to be a contrarian, I'll go yes.
All right.
Come on.
I've only got a couple more here, and then I got to get going because I got to go to work tomorrow.
That's quite all right.
All right. Ready?
Yes.
Do it.
You get $1 million, but
These are
once
fantastic.
a day, every week, randomly, your knees bend the opposite direction.
Oh dear God.
All day?
Oh, I know that. That's
all
got to
day.
be a no for Poot. That's got to be a no for Poot already. I can tell, right?
Why? It would be like bird legs. You'd be able to jump higher. I'm in.
So they just bend the opposite way.
Yeah.
You don't. It's
For
not like
how
your
long?
knees break.
For a day.
All day.
So you don't feel pain.
No.
It's not. It's nothing out of the ordinary other than it.
The
they bend
appearance.
backwards.
You walk like a velociraptor.
Fuck it. I'm in.
Oh, I would say yeah on that one too. Just for the hilarity and to freak people out.
And it's random.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
Yes.
But here's the thing.
Oh,
I
Like,
bet you'd be faster too.
well, here's the thing, though. Remember, none of us can, obviously, what it was like to learn how to walk on our knees that we currently have. Now imagine suddenly being thrust into that position, except for it's backwards, and like you have to figure it out, or else you're gonna be late for work.
I would
And
hope.
like
I would hope
you
I would hope that you
Yeah.
have better coordination and faculties than that of a 1.5-year-old.
Yeah, I'm going with
well,
yes.
And that's
Sign me
true,
up.
So, but
Yeah, sign me up for Velociraptor knees. I'm good.
and I'm obviously a yes too. I think Poot said he was. But let me say this though, Beef. Yes, it might be like learning how to walk again, but if you get $1 million, you could probably spend how often does this happen, Poot?
Once a
week.
day, every week.
Once a day every. All right, so once a day every week.
oh wait, once a day?
Yeah, once
Or all
one
day?
day every week.
Oh, okay,
All right.
yeah. So okay.
So one day every week. If you get $1 million, you could probably spend a couple good months without having to worry about a job, adjusting to that one day a week while you're doing that. So by the time it rolls around where it's like, okay, well, I may have to think about being employed again. You're probably going to be used to it enough that you're like, oh, it's second nature. Like you wake up that day, you're like, oh, it's backwards knee day. Nah, man, I'm good.
It's backwards knee day.
Backwards knee day, yay!
I like it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you'd probably have time to get used to it.
I would take the money. Hilarious note. Brittany is in the bedroom right now, and she can hear my end of the conversation, and she's sending me all kinds of gifts. Some that involve Italian sausages, so it's gonna be pretty hilarious hearing the one end of the conversation.
All right, so we're yeses across the board on that one.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You get $1 million, but every time you fart, you change sex.
Yes, I do it.
Beef would never be able to dress himself because it would be constant cross-dressing.
or he'd constantly look like he's in a lesbian relationship.
You know what? I would say yes because I've always said this. For one day, I would like to know what it's like to be the opposite sex. So yeah, I'd do it.
Is it because you want to know what it's like to be treated like a woman, Tom?
Well, I mean, you don't treat me like a woman, so I mean, you know.
Constantly chasing the tripod.
Yeah,
no, I think, and
you go from being the tripod to the tightwad.
Bottom heavy to top heavy. or if you have a giant schlong, you just have an abnormal vagina.
A very large clit.
Oh, China style.
Oh
yeah.
I would say no to this, just for the exact same reason of the marching band, because it happens far too often. And
we talk to Beef on podcast days, and we say, hey Beef, how many times did you change sex today? And he's like 70.
I can't count.
I mean, if you're not in enough control of your own flatulence, then. Well, sorry, but I feel like I could make it work. So yeah, I'm with a yes on this one.
Now wait, if you're in the middle of a fart and you pinch it off, would you stop halfway between?
Ooh, interesting.
Oh no.
Interesting.
There you go. Oh, transvestite day.
Oh dear.
Okay, so Tom's a yes.
Tom's a yes.
Beef's a no.
No.
Ransom?
I'd go for it.
You'd go for it
just to see what it's like.
All right.
Yeah.
I you know what? I would do it. I'd just take a lot of Metamucil. Like it'd be fine.
It'll be okay.
It's probably okay. All right.
And it's only farts that you have to worry about. It's not burps. So I mean, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm good.
Okay. You get $1 million. You get $1 million every year on January 1st. You get $1 million.
Ooh.
Okay.
But 24/7, you're followed by the world's worst mariachi band.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to ask that one.
I'm going to take this one off, and I'm going to say no because I'd never get any sleep.
Absolutely.
And that would drive me insane.
24/7. They are the worst band, the worst mariachi band ever known. Terrible. And they're following you all the time.
I wouldn't even care if they were like the greatest band. I would lose all sense of privacy. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. I got to give somebody the hot sausage. No. That's a no for me.
Okay.
I want to say yes because it would be fun for a while, but...
Do you think Brittany's going to want to be laying down in the old beef sack when the mariachi band's playing?
Trying to get her to do it.
Oh, no, it wouldn't even...
Is she good with performing in front of people?
So
we don't kink shame here.
I like how he avoids the question.
I'm probably with Tom on this one, where the privacy would be an issue, and Ransom made a good point as well about the sleep. So I'm gonna say hard no on that.
Poot?
No.
No.
Every fiber of my being says no, because good mariachi bands wear on you very quickly.
That's true.
I love
also.
mariachi bands, but all right, Ransom.
Oh, I'm no.
Oh, okay, good. All right, I'll give my last one if Beef wants to take over or someone else wants to take over. Ready for this one? And this one's gonna hit Tom really hard. All right, $1 million.
It's another penis one.
$1 million, but every time you kiss someone, you got to pick a fight with a child and lose.
Nope, because I'm way too. I'm way too.
Child.
What'd you say?
I'm gonna say. He asked if he could pick a fight with his own child.
Yes.
Because I have no problem with every time I kiss somebody having to fight Afton and lose. Because that's pretty much a daily basis for me. So
that is fair.
It pretty much is, right? But what kind of fight are we talking? Are we talking about like knockdown, like drag knuckle, like I'm gonna get my ass kicked fight?
Yes.
Like physically, like I'm in peril. Like
yes, you're not gonna die. You're never gonna die or be injured to the point where like it's gonna debilitate you for the rest of your life. You're just gonna take a really good old fashioned ass kicking.
Nah, I'm gonna say no, just because I'm definitely way too affectionate with my girlfriend for that to be practically okay for that to happen. So no.
Okay.
How old is the kid?
It's a child. Basically, anyone age 12 and under. It could be an infant. It could be a 12-year-old.
It's not even a matter of the pride for me. It's just the fucking inconvenience.
Have you seen some 12-year-olds now, Beef? Some of them are over 6 foot tall. We have one
That's
working.
That's what I'm saying. Like, taking a 7-year-old, okay, you know what? I'll take a 7-year-old up my ass, but taking a 12-year-old, that's a different story altogether.
Listen, you give a 7-year-old a bat, it doesn't matter how old they are.
Yeah.
Fair. So every time you give a kiss, right?
Every time you kiss someone.
Okay.
And if I kiss my own kids goodnight, then they whoop my ass. I'm gonna want to whoop their ass right back. So no.
Yeah, you won't be able to though, because you're gonna lose every time.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's just like nah, I can't do it.
I would have to say no.
Okay. So
what about you, Poot?
I mean, I'm gonna go with no. Just because I'm a sensitive little flower and don't like an ass kicking. And kids got small hands; they can get in the nooks and crannies that adults can't.
I know, right? They're tiny little elbows digging. Oh my god!
I'm telling you, they're little pointy elbows and shit. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Fuck that.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, fuck all of that.
Beef, you want to take over for a couple, and then I'm gonna have to call it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So let me take a look at the list here. Give me just a moment. Nope, that's Breath of the Wild. Where'd the list go? You shared it, and now I can't see it again.
Oh, really?
Did you? Oh, there it is. I still have it open.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I wanna throw one out here.
All right.
Good.
It's not on the list, but we talked video games earlier, so I'm on that kick. You get $1 million.
I really wish I would have been able to make it earlier.
Oh, it's all right,
been
buddy.
good. We talked a lot of Zelda.
Oh, you're killing me.
Yep.
Well,
Listen,
we could talk again. There's not a whole lot happening in wrestling, so we could probably talk.
Yeah.
We could probably talk some Zelda on the next official podcast too. And just
thank you.
With this one as this has been, I would not be shocked if this was like a bi-weekly thing.
All right, so you get $1 million, but you have to spend the rest of your life with your dominant hand as a Samus Aran arm cannon, but aesthetics only. It doesn't function as an arm cannon.
Oh. Does it at
So
least light up?
You can't blast anything with it. You can't get a hand out of it. It's just an arm cannon. It looks really awesome, but you can't do shit with it.
Does it weigh a ton, and also does it light up like a child's toy and make blaster noises?
It does not light up, it does not make any noises, and it does not weigh any more than your normal hand weighs. Strictly aesthetic.
No. For me, that's a no. Yeah.
Practicality aside, yeah, no.
Muppet arms you're good with. Samus Aran arm cannon, no.
Muppet arms, you can at least get some work done.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, well, I mean, I guess, like, if I go with the loophole again, like, could I just, like, you know, again, have that amputated, get another, you know, prosthetic arm / hand? Because, I mean,
it's just like any other body. It's just like any other body part. I mean, you can hack your normal hand off and get a prosthetic if you really.
Yeah, you know
want
what? Okay, I'm gonna change my answer. I'm gonna say yes then, because if I can amputate my Muppet arms and get prosthetic ones, then I could do that with the arm cannon. And I will say this on the video game related note. You don't necessarily need hands to play video games, because I've seen a streamer that does it with no hands, literally. Like, yeah.
Huh. You know, I would say it's tough because you think, oh, you know, it's $1 million. I'm probably not going to have to work, or at least not for a while. But then you think about all the things you do with your dominant hand. You cook, you text, you piss, you wipe, you know,
slowly.
You
all
drive,
of these things,
you write.
you drive. You
can
all
learn.
of these things.
You can teach yourself how to do stuff with your non-dominant hand, though. Like, it would take a long time, but you could do it. I mean, people learn how to adjust to being amputees and stuff like that all the time.
True.
You know what I mean?
That is true.
I mean, if they can do it, fuck. You know,
the human body is a miraculous thing. You're right, and it would look super cool. I would say yes.
Yeah,
I'm
going to go with yes.
Nope.
Oh, Poot, did you answer?
Nope.
You're a no. Okay,
I'm a no.
Let me amend this just to see if your answers change.
Okay.
You get $1 million, but you spend the rest of your life with your dominant arm as a Samus Aran arm cannon. You cannot amputate it. It weighs the same as your normal arm, but it's fully functioning.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, I'd be a superhero.
Because I would never need a concealed carry permit.
But you still live in the same world that we live in now. So where, like, if you Samus Aran power beam somebody and they die, well, you're getting your ass arrested.
Yeah, but at least like, if the world goes into a crazy coronavirus pandemic fucking shutdown, I don't have to worry about running out of, like, bullets and fucking guns and stuff when crazies come try to loot my house. So I'm good.
Fair point.
I'd do it if it was functional.
Yeah, I'm a yes. I was a yes before the amendment. I'm gonna still.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, because you just hacked it off.
Yeah, because I find the loophole.
All right, Beef. What do you do?
I'm still yes. That just makes it all the cooler.
Yes, sir.
Is that a yes for you?
Oh yeah. If it's functional, hell yeah.
Now I'm going to throw in a little bit of a curveball on you, but after your answer for this one, Ransom. But go ahead with yours.
Oh, mine would be 110% yes. Absolutely.
Okay. Now here's my amendment to throw in on that. It's all functioning and everything like that, but you have to go out and acquire said different beams, just like how you do in the game. So you gotta fight, like, maybe somewhere along the line you're gonna have to fight a giant Chozo statue or do battle or something like that to get, you know, a better beam or whatever. Would you still do it?
Fuck yeah, caps lock.
I would say yes because well, let me ask you this: do I start with the normal old power beam, or do I start with nothing but a club?
You start with, like, normal pew pew. You don't get a charge beam. You don't get the grappling beam. You don't get anything cool until you go out and acquire it. And this could take you all over the world. Like, you don't know where the hell you're going to find it at. You
know what? I'd say yes, because when it boils right down to it, in the world that we live in, like, I'm not living in a video game world. We're living in the same world that we live in right now. I don't need anything more than a power beam. I don't need phaser. I don't need plasma. I don't need grapple. I'm good with the little pew pew power beam. I'm fine with that.
All right, good.
All right, so I have 2 from the list, and we'll close up after this.
That's good, because I was gonna say I gotta get going soon.
Yeah.
Every time you see so you get $1 million, but every time you see a purple car, you have to punch the closest person to you in the mouth.
I love that one.
Like, how hard do I have to punch them, though? Like, do I really have to get into it, or just kind of give it a little...
you can't be like, No, you have to punch like you're in a fist fight.
Ooh.
Oh, my.
Oh, I don't know. That's a hard one.
I'm gonna say no, because I have a wife and 2 children, and I cannot fathom. My son, sometimes I could punch him in the mouth. Sarah, if she's really annoying me that day and we pass a car, but I couldn't haul off and sock my daughter in the mouth. I couldn't do it.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do that to my kids or my girlfriend, especially. And I mean, granted though, how often do I ever see a purple car? That's the thing.
More often than you'd think.
I know. That's the thing. Like I used to play the yellow car game with my friends, and then once I got a yellow car, that's all I ever fucking saw. So. Yep.
So then this would be the same thing. All you would see is purple fucking cars.
Yeah, I've been punching. I'd have to. Wait. What if you could isolate yourself though? Like, I don't know. Like,
oh well, you can isolate yourself. Let me ask this though. This is a qualifier beef. I'm colorblind, so I can't discern the difference between a purple car and a blue car.
It would be.
My buddy has a purple car, and for the longest time, I thought it was navy blue. I'm like, man, that's a really nice navy blue color there. And he's like, dude, that's purple. And I'm like,
it would
be inert. It would be inert.
Yeah. It would be like an instinct. Like, oh, there goes the car. Boom. Like, you wouldn't even think about it. It just triggers it, yeah.
Okay. No, I'm still no then.
What do you
think?
Say,
I'd do it.
Probably say no for me.
I'd do it.
I would do it,
Fuck it.
Only because
Spice of life.
There are very, very rarely are there purple cars, and B, if you see in a position where you would see a lot of cars, you're usually going to be with somebody that you know, or somebody that you're at least kind of friends with or whatever, and you can let them know, hey man, like they're going to know, hey man, if we see a purple car, I got to punch you in the mouth. I'll give you $20 if it happens. Sorry. Like,
see, but look, I'm not trying to deter your answer here, but you've got people in your life that would mess with you. A.e. me. If I knew you had this condition, I would buy a purple car. I'd make Tara buy a purple car, and I would spend as much time in your driveway as I possibly could. Anytime when I'm not working, my children would go to bed at night, and I go, hey, you know what? I'm going to take a drive. Oh, you going over to Beach Place again? Sure as hell I am.
The other half of it is that, have you seen my hands? They're basically like boxing gloves. It'd be like getting hit with a pillow. I'm okay with
Well, I don't know. Like, I'm going to harken back to the whole, like, hey, Adam just pulled up. Oh, no, the only person in the apartment with me is Brittany. There's only going to be a few socks on the mouth she's going to take from that punching glove before, she punches you with a frying pan.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true.
Well, you've ruined it, damn it. You ruined it. I would, knowing that, I would switch back to a no. Way to go.
All right.
Way to go. You just cost me $1 million,
here's,
bro.
One more and make it a good one.
Yeah, here's my favorite. You get $1 million, but every day at a random moment, you have the uncontrollable compulsion to burst into a Shakespeare-style monologue about whatever is happening.
I do
that already.
Yeah.
I'd do it. It would just make me like way more eccentric, and just people would be like, I don't know. People would either be really entertained by it or just be like, what the fuck's his problem? And like, but how's that any different from like normal everyday interactions with everybody? Like, people are pretty much have that reaction to you anyway, so fuck it. Why not?
Tom and Pooter definitely. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Let me.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me throw a couple scenarios to you.
Here we go. I know what one's gonna be.
In the bathroom when you're trying to, just go about your business as quickly and as quietly as possible. I am taking the biggest shit in the world right now. Obviously.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, obviously, it's not gonna be the most inopportune time every time, but there's a chance for it happening where you definitely don't want it to happen.
You're in the middle of getting your significant other, and you go, "I'm so insecure about the size of my." Oh, I'm done.
Wow. I was waiting for that scenario to come up, but I think by a certain point they would just get used to it. If it just so happened that it happened often during the giga-schmoogity, and as far as bursting into a Shakespearean monologue, if you're like in the bathroom taking a shit, man, that'd be fucking hilarious. I could see like,
and lo, Taco Bell was a bad choice.
My ass is fired like a cannon.
And lo, it was this moment that I regretted my dinner option for this evening.
Yes. I think that'd be hilarious.
I'd do it.
I'd do it.
Oh, yeah.
In a heartbeat, I'd do it. Yeah.
I'd do it. Oh, yeah. For sure. For sure, I'd do it. But, that would lead to a lot of great moments, I think.
What are we, so we're calling it quits. I would say you said for this week. What are we going to call this? Yeah,
speaking of great moments, what a fun time this was.
Yeah, you'd just call it freaking Pittsburgh Piledriver bonus show.
Yeah, man. The Pittsburgh non-Piledriver podcast.
The Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast breaking kayfabe.
Yeah, breaking kayfabe.
There you go. That's
breaking kayfabe.
Good, Poot. This was fun, and for people out there listening to it, this is as much as we are definitely a wrestling dedicated podcast, this is definitely like more along the lines of kind of what we started with. So we might throw some of this in the mixing bowl and see where we come up with it.
Yeah, I'd be happy if we threw one of these in every once in a while. It doesn't have to be a scheduled thing or like a bi-weekly or tri-weekly or whatever type deal. If we want to get together some night and bash one of these just random ass shows out.
Yeah.
This has been super entertaining for me. I don't know how anybody else listening to this is going to take it, but this has been a super fun night.
Oh, and
hopefully the bar in Iowa enjoyed it.
Oh, I enjoyed it. We were going along doing those $1 million questions. Ransom came up with original ones. I definitely 100% was like, yeah, these are questions that were asked on Rooster Teeth, but they're hilarious, and I wanted to hear. And by God, I got some yucks out of it, and that's all that mattered.
Oh my, it was funny.
But this was a lot of fun, guys. But I got to go to work and get back to the reality of the coronavirus.
Oh.
Yeah.
COVID?
Yeah, everybody.
My corona.
Everybody. Oh. Wow. Everybody. Mike Karuba. Everybody out here. Everybody out there. I hope that if you listen to this, you it kind of took you away, because I'm not gonna lie. Right up until then, I completely forgot that all this chaos was going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
I absolutely did.
It was nice to break from reality a bit.
Yeah, it was. But I'm gonna head out, guys. You wanna you know what? Let's all each say goodbye. Bye, listeners.
Now we're all patiently waiting for somebody else to go.
Yeah, now it's...
See you guys. See you guys. Have a good night.
Bye!
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful